Welcome, everybody, to the August 5th Parks, Recreation, and Community Resources Advisory Commission. Lisa, no, I'm sorry, Rihanna. Can we do a roll call? And the Pledge of Allegiance. A little off here. Wow.
Please stand and face the flag and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Rihanna, roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Toulis? Here. Commissioner Warner?
Here.
Commissioner Maroney?
Here.
Vice Chairperson Horowitz?
Here.
Chairperson Elman?
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, next. We have announcements, upcoming city events. Lisa?
Okay, so we do have an upcoming city events presentation that we'll queue up here. Okay, so on this first slide are our permitted special events through the special event permit program. We had the International Surf Festival this past weekend, August 1st through the 3rd, as well as the sidewalk sale from the 2nd through the 3rd. We have the triathlon coming up this Sunday, August 10th. And we have the California Beach Volleyball Association tournaments August 9th through the 10th and the 30th through the 31st. And some beach tennis tournaments from August 15th through the 17th. And the Mind Travel Live to Headphone Silent Piano Concert did receive Coastal Commission approval, and it will have its first event here in the city of Hermosa on August 19th. Next slide. As far as city-hosted events, we are very excited for the dedication of the Greenbelt Accessible Trail next Tuesday, August 12th at 10:30 a.m. on the corner of Pier Avenue and Valley Drive. And I also wanted to provide a couple other updates. We have our first reservation in the Clark Building on August 20th. So we will be planning an opening, really an open house so everyone can see the new space. And it's going to take place before that August 20th date. So more to come on the exact date and time, but I just wanted to make sure that the commission knew that that was also going to be taking place this month. And we have also determined the date for the Casey Rohr Accessible Playground dedication ceremony. We are actually going to have that event take place in November of this year. That is so we can have all the fencing removed from the South Park irrigation slope project. There's some orange fencing throughout the park that needs to stay in place for the next 90 days. And we want that fencing to be removed so the park can be free of all fencing when we have our ceremony. And the actual date does work out well for the Rohr family to be in attendance. Next slide. As far as our department's excursions, we have our annual Catalina Island trip on August 17th. We are sold out. We have 2 buses going to Catalina Island. We are accepting more enrollment on the wait list. So if anyone is interested in joining the wait list, they can go to hermosabeach.gov/recreation to do so. Next slide. And this last slide is our upcoming theater productions, and it includes everything that is taking place in the community theater and the second story theater. We have a more detailed flyer at hermosabeach.gov/theater that gives information on how to get tickets and the exact show times. And that concludes the upcoming city events presentation.
Thank you, Lisa. Next, we have the community presentations. Do we have presentations tonight?
No presentations this evening.
All right. Next, the Community Resources Director's Report. Right back at you.
All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and queue up that presentation. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so just a reminder that this part of the report is a reoccurring item, and it focuses on updates on City Council's direction for items that were previously on the Commission's agenda or new items that have been assigned to the Commission by City Council. The first item was, again, a new item that Council had directed staff to prepare for the Commission's review that we discussed last meeting, and it was a report on providing access to a pool for our community. I just wanted to provide an update on this item. since our last meeting, and that is really that we have determined really how we will bring this item to the commission. We anticipate returning to the commission as early as October this year and have determined that really the item will be a report that includes the best practice research from surrounding cities that have a pool. It would provide information to the commission on other cities' pool's location and size, any supporting indoor facilities that the city may have for the pool, the amount of staff that the city has to manage the pool, the year the city's pool was built and what the construction cost was at that time, what their annual maintenance costs are, what their annual revenue is, and really any other applicable information for operating that pool. And really the goal of providing this research is so that when the commission reviews this item, they have that information to then make a recommendation to City Council on whether staff should continue to explore joint use agreements with other cities to provide access to their pools for our community. And that's really what was recommended in the Parks Master Plan. Or if staff should further explore the possibility of a pool within the city of Hermosa Beach, and that would require us to do so with an expert in the field of aquatics. When the item does come forward, we would also invite the community group that is advocating for a pool here in Hermosa to provide a presentation at the start of that evening, so the commission would also have that information in the discussion for that item. And the second item was also discussed at our last meeting, and it was the new item that council directed staff to prepare for the commission to review, as well as the Public Works Commission. That is the Hermosa Beach Little League's proposal for Clark Field improvements that they would raise funds for. So to allow our Public Works Director to be in attendance for that meeting, we are going to reschedule that item for review at our September meeting because our Public Works Director was not able to join us this evening. So that will be on our September agenda. So that's another update I wanted to provide since our last meeting. And lastly, the third new item is a complete review of the Lawn Bowling Club's maintenance and operations. Staff has determined since our last update on this item that this item does require both the review of the commission and the Public Works Commission. So I am determining the timeline for advancement of this item, and I'll continue to keep the commission updated on that time frame. Next slide. Okay, so this next part of the report is new. It's one that I hope the commission will find helpful, and it really is giving a snapshot of what our next meeting's agenda would look like as far as action items go. So in September, as of today, we have scheduled the Returning Impact Level 3 events for commission's review. And as mentioned earlier, we have the Hermosa Beach Little League proposal. We also will have the consideration of the creation of a dog park subcommittee and the replacement of former Commissioner Pizer-Maines on the Municipal Lease Policy Subcommittee. We will also have an item for the commission to consider whether or not we should adjust our meeting start time to 6. This would align us with City Council's start time as well as other commissions. And we also have received a request from AVP to include in their long-term agreement application for 2026 to 2028, a request to host an Adult Pro Heritage Series alongside its junior tournament. So we will bring that application back for further discussion to the commission before we take our recommendation that we had made on the last commission meeting regarding all the July volleyball tournaments to City Council. We want to make sure that you had an opportunity to hear that new request from AVP first. Next slide. Our next update is to share that due to disease and an infestation, 10 trees were removed in Valley Park last week. Stump grinding of these trees is expected to be completed this week, and those 10 trees will be replaced with 20 trees. And the Public Works Commission is going to provide input on the species selection and placement of these trees at its meeting next month, and then it will go to City Council for final review and approval. Next slide. We anticipate announcing the lineup for the Hermosa Beach Concert Series this week or early next week, and we're very excited to make that announcement. The concerts will again take place on the 2 Sundays following Labor Day weekend. The first opening act will take the stage at 3, And we're still determining the exact timeline, but we anticipate it will be similar to last year, where the second opening act will go on stage at 4:30 and the main act at 5:45. Next slide. And last update, but certainly not least, our fall/winter recreation brochure is available. Registration opened yesterday, and the brochure is available for viewing at hermosabeach.gov/recreation. And that concludes my Community Resources Director's report.
Thank you, Lisa. Anyone have any questions? Okay.
Lisa, did we get any response to the volleyball survey?
Only at this point, JVA BVCA has sent it out. All organizations will be sending it out. So AAU should be sending it out shortly, and AVP should be sending theirs out shortly. And we plan to keep it open for as long as possible, really, to get the most response possible. I don't know how many JVA BVCA has received at this time, but I'll continue to check in with them. And I'd say to keep it open as long as possible, by our October meeting, hopefully I can give a snapshot of the results.
All right, that'd be good. The AVP issue, why the change? Was it a change of heart, or did they say they just didn't include it in their original application as a mistake?
It was not that it was a mistake. It's a new addition that they have decided they would like to add after some recent meetings that they had within their organization.
And I guess it would bring up the date conflicts again?
It's actually looking like it won't.
It won't?
So we did receive an application that's for 2026 through 2028. It looks like it's pretty in line with the junior dates, except for the 2028 year, and that's something I'm still working out with AVP.
All right.
But I know that our recommendation really was for 1 year with an additional 1-year term. So if we consider that in our discussion, then 2028 wouldn't be on the table just yet.
All right, and the next question then isn't as critical. Do Jeff and Denny know that they're asking for reconsideration?
They will be informed. We just got the application.
All right, the dog park, does the creation of the subcommittee require public notice?
It does not.
Does the recommendation and our recommendation to council, is that a public hearing or commission consideration?
That will be a matter for commission consideration. At the point we were actually making a recommendation on a location, if we got to the point where we were making a recommendation on a location, then we would start issuing public hearing notices
All right.
and notifying the residents within 500 feet of the space.
All right, the reason I asked that is for the next questions. Do we anticipate that the subcommittee is going to make a recommendation to us of, this is the space that might work, or nothing works, or here are the 3 spaces that might work, and then we're going to make a recommendation to council?
Correct.
All right, my concern in just a rhetorical question to think about, since I won't be here next meeting, is if the subcommittee comes back and says, we think the best location is A or B, and since the subcommittee has 2 of us on it, and there's certainly going to be a 3rd vote for that. But then if it goes to council, and council says, well, why didn't you look at D and G? Right? And then we'd have to start the whole process over again. Does it make sense to do it in 2 steps for the subcommittee to bring us a slate of 3 candidates or 4 candidates? We say to council, these are the 3 or 4 candidates we're looking at. Council then says that looks good or doesn't look good, and then come back a second time, knowing that at least council's on board with what we're looking at.
Yeah, we can certainly do that, and we can do all the noticing at that point for all of the locations that are on that. I'm imagining like a list of, like almost an order of what we think is the best location, second best location, and we can notify everyone.
I just think the 2-step process will avoid the scenario where council says, you guys are crazy, look at this.
Yeah.
And then the last question I have, I had already asked you about, which is South Bay Parkland Conservancy and their Greenbelt work. I know I had asked whether we could ask them to come back sometime in the next 6 months. On further review, it probably makes sense to just schedule them for the joint Parks
yes.
Public Works meeting next spring. And then lastly, on Clark Field, Clark Field's going to make a presentation And then what? Are we being asked to make a recommendation on it?
Yes.
At the September meeting, or what are we doing?
We would be asked to make a recommendation on it at the September meeting, and I'm still formulating exactly what the staff's recommendation is going to be on that. It's really just going to, the ultimate goal is to determine the commission's level of support for the advancing the project and creating an MOU with Little League to allow them to fundraise for start fundraising for the
Start
project.
fundraising. So council's interested in proceeding with this ahead of what would be the normal capital improvement project schedule.
Correct. It's my understanding, and Joe can certainly touch on this more when he joins us next month, that if we go the route that we're anticipating, it wouldn't necessarily need to be. But I think those are kind of still the factors that we're determining before we bring the item forward.
Okay, that's all I have.
Ilka, do you have any questions?
I just had a question on the trees. It seems like a lot of trees just got hit with this fungus or whatever it was. Is this company keeping an eye on, checking trees so they don't get to the point where they're all dead at the same time?
I can't speak to that too much because it is within the Public Works Department maintaining that contract. We do have regular checks, and I know there's been quite a few inspections recently. So that is certainly something that we can discuss with the Public Works Director when he joins us next month.
Yeah, because I've heard from a lot of the people that go to that park. They were kind of shocked when they saw the grinding, and, I did say they would be replaced, but I think the fact that they all occurred at the same time, it was a little jarring for some people. Thank you.
Okay, Todd?
Yeah, just follow up on the surveys again. Are the surveys hosted by our technology?
Yes, they are. So we
Okay.
can keep them as open as long as we would like.
Yeah, in my experience, those things, you get a spike of things at the beginning, and you might get a spike if you say we're going to close it next date. And obviously, we're not going to communicate with those audiences to say that survey's closing. I'm a little concerned if AAU hasn't even sent it out yet, because now we're 2 weeks away from past that event. People are much less likely to respond. So I'd ask
Yeah,
that
I'll
we
certainly get
ask them to
on them,
push it.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
And then I'm hoping that they can send out to another, like even JVA, BVCA can send out another reminder before we actually decide that we're cutting off the survey. As well as, give it 2 reminders from each organization.
Yeah, if it makes it easier for them, maybe whatever their normal newsletter is, like send it the second newsletter, hey,
Yeah.
still chances to respond here, or something like that.
Yeah.
Tracy?
I just want to touch again on the trees in Valley Park. I know when we replace trees, it's nearly impossible from a cost perspective to replace like with like because they take so many years to grow. But will there be, do you know, some consideration for shade and especially around the play area and what that will look like?
There definitely will be, and that will be the discussion that is taking place at the Public Works Commission is also placement as well as species.
Okay, that's great. Thanks.
Of course.
I'll go with everybody else about the trees at Valley Park first. Like Tracy said, like for like isn't going to happen, but 10 trees to 20 trees are a lot of trees to be putting in. Do we have to put all 20 trees in Valley Park or just somewhere in Hermosa Beach?
It would be within Valley Park to maintain our practice of that replacing with that 2-to-1 ratio.
Okay. So there is no way to, from what I spend a fair amount of time at that park, I don't believe there's a way to replace that shade with what we could probably afford to buy or to purchase, I guess. So my question is, we've been talking about the problem of shade at that park, and we do have shade at South Park. Is that a consideration to put up a shade?
It is. There's a current CIP and that is addressing the playground equipment at Valley Park and with consideration of a shade structure.
Okay. That's great. The triathlon, I saw the signs up where we ran into a problem last year with some people complaining about the bikes that were the chains that were cut. Do you know when we're going to start doing that? Is it 2 o'clock in the afternoon? I should have read the notice. I just saw them from a distance.
You know, I'd have to get back to the commission on that. Public Works and Community Services post the signage and schedule the removal. So I'll have to
Okay.
follow up with them.
I just remember people didn't feel that they'd been warned, but I don't know much more we could do other than put the announcements up there.
What is that about, Barbara?
When, on Saturday, at some point in time, they have to cut the bike chains off the bike racks. And there are notices up there telling people you can't park your bike on Saturday at this time. I just want to be sure that we made that really clear, that they were white notices. People kind of see what they want to see, but we did have a truck on the plaza cutting the chains and putting bikes on there. The bikes were taken to the police station, and people could easily get them. I don't believe, did we?
So it's the racks up here plaza?
Yes,
Correct.
because the triathlon is on Sunday morning, so they have to start sometime. Do we penalize people? Do they have to pay a ticket for?
No.
Okay.
They just can pick up their bike.
All right. So any more questions about what is in the future and how we're planning on sharing this information, especially the dog park? We're all done asking questions. Perfect. All right. Next is public comment. Rihanna?
I did not receive any public speaker cards.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot, because we're not doing anything via the phone. So it is just only in person. So now everyone does know that there's nobody here. Hiding over there in the corner. I don't think he wants to know. Okay, next is commissioner comments. Any comments?
I have a comment. I went to this Saturday night events down at the International Surf Fest, and fantastic as always. They're so well organized. It's so much fun to watch. But it ended around 10:15, and the restrooms at the pier were closed. And I think that creates a bit of a problem. So I just wondered, maybe for future events, if we can coordinate the timing. And I don't know if the event ran late. I don't know if it ran long.
Because that hasn't been a problem in the past, so I do wonder. I'll investigate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know we wandered off the pier sometime between 10:15 and 10:30, and there was a need. Not mine, but doesn't matter. And I just thought maybe we could somehow coordinate public restrooms being open when all of these people are leaving
Correct.
the event.
Yeah.
Because
I'll
I didn't see
definitely look into it.
any porta potties that were brought down.
No, they typically aren't required
Yeah, I
to
didn't
supply
think
any.
so.
So it could have been that I went late, but I'll definitely check in with our event producer.
We had that problem last year at Movies on the Beach, that the bathrooms were locked. And
There was a couple locked, I think
Yeah.
was the problem. And we never got to the bottom of that, but we were able to address it for the next weekend.
Perfect.
Yeah. I don't know if they just missed. It was
Todd?
not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were running late because I know the announcer was trying to hurry people along both nights. Got to get out of here. Got to get this done. But they are really fun events. I was there as well Friday and Saturday night, and three of us also at least attended the kickoff dinner too for the International Surf Fest and heard about the
Oh, Elko was there also.
Elka. Yeah, the Elka. All four of us are there. Okay. My mind. Heard about the great actions of the Redondo, both maintenance workers, LA County, City and Harbor, and also the fire department and rescue divers for the sailboat capsize incident. They were recognized for their valor and efforts.
Yes, that's always an amazing event to just visit their world, but at the same time appreciate the heroics of that job. Sometimes people kind of have a tendency to brush off lifeguards until you hear these stories. Elka, did you have anything?
Yeah, I went down to the beach for the volleyball and sat in on some of the AAU games and was actually recruited to give out some of the medals with St. John Smith. So that was a huge highlight. He's a hero in the volleyball world. And we gave the medals for the King and Queen of the Beach, and it was a doubles kind of round robin where they eliminate people. So that went well. There was an unfortunate incident, though, with one of the regular unhoused people that was going up to people, harassing them, and I heard about it, and he just would not leave. And I know the dads got a little testy and said, you need to move along. He apparently vaped in some 3-year-old's face, and then finally, I think he urinated on the Strand, and that's when the police came and arrested him. But I'm thinking maybe if there's kind of a lot of activities going on with the tournaments, we maybe ask the police to do extra patrols there, because I was speaking with Denny Lennon of the AAU, and he said he had about 3 people he was dealing with, and they had a runner that somebody had broken in somewhere, so the police were gone, and he had his staff, so he wasn't really sure how to adequately deal with him. I think it all worked out, but I know that some of the people were just kind of didn't know how to react to him. And, they're coming from 40 different states, and some are more used to people confronting them and others not. So, but otherwise, it went really well.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate situation. Staff was made aware. The police department was just responding to another emergency situation. So unfortunately, they did get there as fast as they possibly could and assured us that they would. And that's something we can, definitely work on with the volleyball tournament producers. It's not always that we can have police down at the event. So often we will require event producers to hire security to help oversee event safety. So that can also be something that we have as a part of a discussion with them, and maybe a requirement if it continues to be a problem, because it's not always the case that we can respond immediately.
Right,
Yeah.
especially on a busy weekend like that.
Yeah.
So.
Tom? Nothing. All right. The lifeguard dinner was just amazing. It was a wonderful night, as usual. This is my 3rd, and I, as Todd said, they're great stories, and we're really grateful. I did find out that the Wyland Shield came back to us. The Santa Monica lifeguards did take the shield, and I would just like to add that apparently the women were the ones that came in strong. So, yay, it's here. And those of you that don't know about it, it is a great program where we, Santa Monica, or the Aussies come and spend some time here learning their life-saving instruction and learn about new equipment. And it has added some fun to that visit. They did a great job, and they stayed here on the plaza at the youth hostel. They had a great time. So. Great, thank you. Does anyone have anything else to say about anything in general? Then I will come up with my list of things. Lisa, the Mind Travel headphone, I had some people that said they were having a problem buying tickets. Do you have to have a ticket? I was trying to remember what the rule was didn't really have to pay the full price. Do you have any information to shed on that?
Yeah, it's a suggested donation. So if someone doesn't want to buy a ticket, there'll be activities to experience at the event. They were going to have the headphones available at the booth. And I'm wondering when the people that shared that they had trouble buying tickets were trying to buy tickets, because they only opened the ticket site for sale this week. Like, I think it might have been yesterday, because they didn't have Coastal Commission approval, and we couldn't allow them to start selling tickets.
So maybe
till
that
they
was the
did.
problem.
Yeah, I think they might have put the event on there this week, but the actual tickets didn't go on sale until they receive that approval.
Okay. And then now that we have the Clark Building open and we've been able to have a few more visitors come do some filming, is there a way for you to give us an update of how much money we're making from all these new revenue sources that we have access to?
What in
Not
particular?
in a monthly, but just to give us an idea of how successful we are. I know that once the Clark Building gets up and running, it'd be nice to know how it's all working out. And also, I know that, our movies and commercials.
Like a general department revenue
Yes.
report. I think it will be easier for us to do that in a way that I'm sure that I'm giving you the right figures when we get our new recreation software and our new finance software. So let me look into that a little bit more and figure that out.
And we have
I'll
new
get back to
software
the
coming
commission. We are planning to go out to RFP for a new recreation software that will allow our community to register for programs and for facility bookings, hopefully to make things way easier for our community to access booking our facilities and make it a lot easier on the user's end to navigate all our programs and the facilities you can rent. And so I'll keep the commission up to date. We're working on the RFP, so when we're getting close to the issuance of it, I'll be sure that the commission's aware. And I do know that our finance department is looking into maybe some software there for several things that we do in the finance department. So let me get back to you all
Okay.
on that, and I'll see what's possible.
Great. All right, next we have the consent calendar. Are we happy with the July and June reports? Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the action minutes of the regular meeting of July 1st, 2025, and the June and July 2025 activity reports.
Second?
Excellent.
Commissioner Tullis,
Yes.
Commissioner Warner,
Yes.
Commissioner Maroney,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Horowitz,
Yes.
Chairperson Elman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. And next, matters for the commission's consideration. We don't have anything. Future agenda items. Anyone have any thoughts? All right. So at this point, it's adjournment. So I will adjourn tonight's meeting to our September 5th meeting. And thank you very much.